She has been my most steadfast guide throughout my life. I discovered her years ago when I was in college, and I've leaned into her work ever since. You know how when you find those people who are both inspiring and honest in their work, they bring you both joy and comfort. That's what she is for me, and I love everything she does, except for that one quote. That quote has irritated me for decades, and I never understood this idea that you're free when you belong nowhere. As a social scientist, I know that belonging is crucial. I'm sure of this. When you lack love and belonging, there is always suffering. That I know for sure. So this quote of hers about belonging everywhere, which really means nowhere, as the path to freedom, really troubled me. But then I started digging deeper, trying to understand what belonging really means. I always thought belonging was about having a group, being part of something, negotiating that connection with others. But that's not what I found. The rest of the quote is from an interview she did with Bill Moyers. He pushes her a little, asking, "So are you saying you belong nowhere and to no one?" And she replies, "I belong to Maya." What I've learned is that true belonging is a spiritual practice. It's about finding sacredness in being part of something, but also having the courage to stand alone. For those of us who struggle to stand alone, especially when doing so risks our connection to others because we have a different opinion or love something different, this is the mark of true belonging. It's being able to say, yes, I'm part of something bigger, but I will also stand alone when necessary. You belong everywhere and nowhere, and that's freedom. In my leadership work, I often talk about understanding your personal values. For me, my two core values are faith and courage. People tell me not to talk about faith, that it's inappropriate for corporate settings. But I've sat across from thousands of people over the last 2 decades, hearing the hardest stories imaginable, and I can tell you this. When people are facing those tough moments, 2 things always show up: cussing and praying. If you don't want me to cuss or pray, that's fine. Ask someone else. But I'm not going to change who I am. When I speak publicly, I don't show up as a polished corporate version of myself. I show up as me. I talk about things that many people in the audience may have never considered before, things they might be scared to think about, and they need to see me as a real person. There's a part of my book, Braving the Wilderness, that really changed me. It's this practice. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong. You'll always find it. Don't walk through the world searching for evidence that you're not enough. You'll always find that too. Our worth and belonging are not things that can be negotiated with others. We carry them inside our own hearts. For me, I know who I am. I'm clear about that, and I'm not going to negotiate my identity with you. I'll negotiate a contract or a topic, but I won't negotiate who I am. If I do, I might fit in with you, but I'll no longer belong to myself, and that's a betrayal I'm not willing to make anymore. I've spent enough of my life doing that. I won't do it again. Trust is everything in leadership. A few years ago, in my leadership work, I noticed that trust kept coming up in conversations. Building trust in teams and organizations. The problem with trust is, if I work for you and I come to you upset about being passed over for a promotion, and you say, "Look, you're doing great work, but there are some trust issues," the moment you imply that you don't trust me, I'm no longer listening logically. I'm in fight or flight mode because trust is about integrity. It's who we are. So I wondered, what are we really talking about when we say trust? We dove into the data, and I found that there are 7 elements of trust, all observable and measurable. I use the acronym BRAVING to explain it. Boundaries. You set clear boundaries, and when you don't know them, you ask. You're clear about what's okay and what's not, which can be hard for people. Reliability. You do what you say you'll do. The challenge here is not overcommitting and under-delivering. Accountability. You don't blame or back-channel. You hold people accountable directly. Vault. Confidentiality is key. Not only do you keep private what we share, but you also don't gossip about others. If I share things that aren't mine to share, you'll trust me less. Integrity. You choose courage over comfort and practice your values even when it's hard. You do what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy. Non-judgment. You can ask for help without feeling judged, and I can ask for help without judging myself. Generosity. When things go wrong, you assume positive intent. You give others the benefit of the doubt and seek to understand what happened before reacting. For braving the wilderness, the idea is that the wilderness represents the times when we have to stand alone, stepping away from familiar ideologies or beliefs. Braving is the tool that helps us navigate those tough moments. I'll leave you with this. There will be times when standing alone feels too hard, too scary, and you'll doubt your ability to make it through the uncertainty. Someone will tell you, "Don't do it. You don't have what it takes to survive the wilderness." That's when you reach deep into your wild heart and remind yourself, "I am the wilderness.